Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our next episode of A Toon to Die For. My name is Kelsey, my pronouns are she, they, and I am the communications director for this lovely, wonderful channel you see us on right here, TTRPG. I'm going to pass it over to our game master. Take it away.
Hello, it's me, Mike. It's still me. And my pronouns are still they, he, and you can find me on Twitter at GoodSirBlood if you're so inclined. I'm joined, of course, by, as you know, Kels, our wonderful tech manager here for this show, and our other friends. Hello, Kiki.
Hey, Mike, how are you doing?
I'm swell and full of bright white light.
Uh, what a wonderful thing to be. I'm Kiki and Grishka. My pronouns are she, her, and they, them. And if I can find the character whenever the moment comes, I will be embodying Cyril Seda, the kind of, at this point, thoroughly put upon gadabout and local shaggy dog storyteller and everyone's favorite angry uncle. Um, who also happens to be a 6.5 foot tall rat lion rubber hose cartoon man.
Speaking of cartoons, I'm also joined by Annie. Hi, Annie.
Hello. I'm Annie Oakley. My pronouns are she, her. I will be playing Sally Sable. Her pronouns are also she, her, and she is a Sable, if you couldn't
If
guess
you'd
by the
believe it.
name. Yeah. She's just, a tune trying to make it in the world. Learning a bit of tools of trade from Cyril, hopefully. We'll
Yeah,
see how that works out.
managing to sift out what little amount of wisdom you can get from just listening to him sort of humble bragging and talking bad about good things.
Yeah.
And speaking of sifting through a lot of detritus to get to the truth, Kels, who are you playing?
Right, I should mention that. I will be playing Sky Howard, pronouns they, them, a halfling, hobbit sized cartoon person who looks like a human child but is actually much older than you, probably, and can turn into a frog.
And that's all true. We're still in the mystical magical cartoon setting of Bivdale, which is in landlocked USA next to the Johanneman River. Everyone knows it. It's so big and
Mhm.
famous. It's the site of animation in this fictional US analog. But
We all know it, we all love it, we all
yeah,
deal with it.
we are all here. And of course, our cast is not rounded out today by Morshadi. Um, blessed be his name. And long may Kip Hopperman rest in goo, which is where he fell. He may return to us, as we discovered last session. There is an infinite multiverse in his overall pocket. The constant recursive loop of Kip and anxiety.
Sky may never be the same.
Yeah, that was that
Exactly.
was that was you had a whole little adventure in the pocket. That's true.
It was
A
it was
war in the
absolutely
pocket, if
wild.
you will.
Damn.
That one's for
Oh,
the Gundam likers in chat. I see you.
what else happened last time though? I feel like a lot happened.
Yeah, we started fighting Beaumont Ignatius Stone, or attempting to, I should say, because I don't think things went that great.
It really wasn't a fight. It was more of I think there were some gunshots and there was a valiant attempt by Kip. I believe Ignatius Stone is did he end up falling in with Kip, or are they
He did
or
not.
okay.
He's up on the ropes on the gantry that began to give way due to the wild cartoon fight happening. And when he was almost clobbered by Kip, he cracked his head against the railing and it shattered a bit, revealing perhaps that this Beaumont Ignatius Stone was wearing some sort of plaster mask and something else or someone else is beneath. And the last thing that happened, of course, after the party reconvened in Beaumont Ignatius Stone's print on demand Toon warehouse villain lair, very evil.
Mm.
Yes, it's very multi levels. We Sally actually managed to knock out Bog, one of his gargoyle Toon bodyguards, because she's an absolute beast.
Yeah.
Cyril got a little bit feral on us, and Sky had eyes on the face underneath that mask right before Kip fell into the goo. A deeply emotional, heartbreaking moment for
That's
us.
right. I had a successful roll and I had questions, and
Yeah,
you
and
said we were going to answer them next time.
And so here we return. Sky, what reaction do we see on your face as the plaster mask crumbles and a human fleshy hand comes up to touch a two-dimensional black and white wood etching Toon face of an ancient Toon that you may recognize? One Little Bertie, the original wood etching cartoon of Roy G. Biv himself, revealed to be underneath the skin of this Beaumont Ignatius Stone getup.
So Sky is just very like, it's like genuine shock at first, like they're very wide eyed, but then when they realize there's something weird going on, it's like a very skeptical, like brings out a little pair of binoculars and like looks closer. And upon realizing that Beaumont is not Beaumont, but Biv, is very like just confused mostly, because Sky definitely had it in their head that like this whole thing was like a conspiracy run by like the human capitalist overlords to try to cut costs and make more money off of the Toons, and like workers' rights and union, blah blah blah, like all of that stuff. And now like it's being run by a Toon, like that. It doesn't quite compute with everything else that's going on.
Big anime zoom in fisheye.
Exactly.
Any other reactions from Sally or Cyril as you begin to see this two-dimensional, this like 7 foot tall black and white wood etching cartoon kind of step out of the crumbling costume he was wearing?
Well, I'd like to say I'm kind of surprised to see that this entire thing has been a means by which the ruling class of old guard actors are, just sucking out the life of old talent, mid-tier talent, and the dreams of others. But it's a day in Bivdale that ends in Y, so
Whoa. Completely regained his composure, has Cyril.
yeah. I mean, I feel like he's saying all this while the birds are still kind of
Right.
circling around him. I almost like the idea that he's talking to one of them at this, and like
For
one of them is
sure.
like sat down and is having a cup of coffee with them. But
Yeah.
both of them cigarette dangling, out of their mouths as they're
Absolutely, yeah.
watching everything that's happening in front of them.
And Sally, as you rise from the crumpled heap of bog, having given him those two big X's in his eyes.
Mhm. So Sally's a little out of breath, so she's got like, hands on her knees, breathing heavy, and she's just gonna look and say, "What the fuck?"
Oh, well, that's our one for this production, everybody.
And now that Sky has had a chance to like absorb and process, just like several like completely blank silent seconds of like what you can like you zoom in, you can see like the gears starting to turn, like
Right.
little bits of rust are flaking off, like it just stares at this old Toon now standing in front of them and just, "You're a traitor!" Nothing else. Just, "You're a traitor!"
I think
that gets a sharp laugh and a snark from Cyril.
I think everyone clocks that like Cherno, who's like about to like jump on Sally Sable, the other Gargoyle Guardian, is like completely taken aback that this is not Beaumont Ignatius Stone, perhaps. Like also very surprised. And that's when Little Birdie, the first Toon Roy G. Biv ever made, It's just sort of like 2D, very much does not belong in like three-dimensional space, hard to look at.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Turns toward all of you. It's like wacky armed inflatable tube man levels of just not being able to kind of keep himself up.
Mm-hmm.
I
Could we
didn't
get
betray.
like
Yeah,
can we get like a description of like little birdie as far
sure.
as like you know, got pie slice eyes? Are we talking
Right, yeah,
like
because right now all I'm picturing is a cross between Doodle Bob and Steamboat Willie.
I think
yeah,
that's not inappropriate.
Okay.
But Doodle Bob energy for sure. Just like
uh-huh.
a really whacked out face that's like only meant to be seen from profile because Little Birdie is like sort of like a fictional European Jack from like all the fairy tales and
Mm-hmm.
poems. Little
Mm-hmm.
Birdie is like he stole a pie from a giant and he wrestled the troll to be able to extort travelers under the bridge.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and
Beautiful.
he threw the cow over the moon. So that she would break up with the spoon. Like Little Birdie is just like this ancient cartoon trickster.
Mm-hmm. A little bit of ye old social engineering.
Yes, and he more or less like not meant to be seen straight on, only ever in profile. And this he's facing you with like his weird double profile face, kind of like a
Biblically
flounder.
accurate
Is that
little
the sort of
birdie.
Yes.
yeah
Yes.
biblically accurate little birdie? He is a he's very rough to look at. He is more or less just like 7 feet tall, very skinny, like rail thin guy. If you looked at him from the side, but you notice that he's got like his etching has changed, where he's usually depicted to be very poor and like there's patches in his jacket. Like
Mhm.
he looks very clean. He's kind of dressed like an oil baron or like a railroad baron. Excuse
Yeah,
me.
yeah. It's got the part like directly down the
Yeah, he's like very fancy for like a very early 19th century wood etching cartoon. And after that beat, and everyone sort of stops, and like the goo stops being pressed into other tunes, as all of the Half-Life tunes and all the print on demand tunes are sort of without direction for a moment. Everything is stuck on Little Birdie, and after a beat, he says, "I didn't betray anybody."
You just betrayed all of Toon kind. What are you doing?
I mean, you betrayed, you know, any sense of good taste when you came out dressed like that. Goodness.
Cyril, you can tell that that deeply cut him.
Good.
Like shoots his look over at you, and like he's starting to like kind of bulk out a bit, like not be as two-dimensional.
Hmm.
Bro, what kind of energy drinks are you drinking?
What do
So,
tunes ever do for old Little Birdie? Everything's fine. I can explain, really.
So explain.
yeah,
Yeah,
let's get the type 5
I'd
here.
love to hear that.
Well, now that the jig is up, I suppose we should start at the beginning. Stone had interesting ideas that he entertained some of the old guard with. I, of course, being among the oldest guard that we have, and suggested that Toon life has sort of spiraled out of control. That there's not a measure of creative license anymore. Toons will sort of do whatever they want now. And there's a lot more toons than there are people. So he figured rope some toons into this whole scheme here of fixing the industry.
I would just like to take a very quick pause and like do total like fourth wall breaking, turn to the audience, notice how the character is using third person pronouns to absolve himself of guilt, and like cut back to what we're actually doing.
There's a
my
kid at
gosh.
home who's like, yeah,
Oh man, my parents do this.
that's crazy. We didn't mean to do that. It's like, ooh, oh no. If that hurts you in particular, sorry, don't do that. Take ownership.
Mhm.
Sorry, if you didn't want childhood trauma, maybe you shouldn't have come
Wrong
around
Wrong
with
show.
What? Well, if you didn't
Wrong
want
show.
childhood trauma,
Wrong
what are you
group of
doing watching
people.
cartoons?
Stop. But yeah,
Yeah,
little birdie is just sort of like ready to tell all because
yeah,
he's unsafe.
yes. Cyril's just kind of taking this in, and I think he finally goes, "Okay, so how long has this been happening? How long have you been pulling folks aside and turning them into mush, both in the literal sense, how long has this facility been here, and more in the figurative sense, how far back does this go?"
Oh, well, Stone, of course, is only in his 60s, but a similar idea was had centuries ago, maybe.
Whoa, hold on. What do you mean Stone was in his 60s? Was this a real person that you possessed, or was this like a fake costume you put on, this person never existed kind of situation? I really want to know like what's going on so we know like
Stone
what
was a
level of
real
crimes
guy.
against
I went
humanity
to
we
his
should charge you
house.
with.
I went
Uh,
to his house and I met his fake family a couple of times. His mistress twice. Honestly, she was the actual brains behind most of it.
yeah, Stone is real, and he's tied up at the moment. I thought I could assume control of the process here, and that sort of didn't go my way. No hard feelings, Cherno. You're great.
So
Yeah.
wait, how long have you been pretending to be Beaumont? What?
Couple weeks now. Was rather easy. He's sort of got a plastic face and a, as I'm sure well you know, the three of you, that he's not, I mean, he's a real human man with flesh and blood, but he's not like a real person.
Mm, well, that's a little mean,
The
but
mustache is fake. Yeah, yeah. Take that in. That
Forget what I said about Trader. You're just a criminal.
frankly, that blew my world apart when I found out the mustache was not real. He's got several of them.
Well, so did you have to
I'm
steal one
sorry.
of the fake mustaches?
Yes.
That seems a little personal, don't you
I'm
think?
sorry. You said that your world was shaken when you found out he had a fake mustache. How do you think we feel?
Fine, I imagine.
Yeah, that the body was fake too.
so let's try to let's try to rein all this in. I feel like we're getting a little dazzled here by the by the inside baseball of all of this, but um let's try to get something out of this before I'm sure you're inevitably going to call your entire army of goons over and kill us, put us in the river, or whatever it's going
Whatever
to
do you
be.
mean? I don't have any goons.
You
I'm
we
just a
have we
fella.
have the we have the crumbling remains of one of them over there in the corner under Sally, and we have another flying around above all of our heads.
Cherno
look,
works for Stone, not for me.
look. What did Wint find out that required you to kill him? Why did Wint have to die?
What on earth are you talking about?
Excuse me?
We just got we started this whole damn thing at his funeral. His open casket funeral. Wait, was it open casket?
We
I was a
didn't
little
we
drunk
didn't actually
whenever
go
we
to
were
the
there.
funeral, remember?
Yeah, we were all at his house.
Yeah, everyone else went to the funeral.
Well, I mean, I made sure to pay lip service before I kind of
Oh.
headed out
Mm.
at the entrance. I never went in, but
Well, I'm glad someone did
um,
because I wasn't allowed.
really, Annie, you didn't even go in there to exchange cards, get a couple of fatheads out. You
Well,
Dear, you
as
really
I
have to
mentioned,
network.
As I
mean,
mentioned, the presence of the police makes me a little uncomfortable after everything happened. So I was going to go later, and then shit happened. You know?
okay. Wint, we are all almost certain, is dead. We were told he was dead. A funeral was held. A large amount of people went to a wake. Maybe it
Went
was
to.
presumptuous of me to thank you for that, Sky.
That's a laugh for Sky.
That was
Yay!
entirely
Hey!
appropriate
That's
for the
highly
atmosphere.
appropriate. You get one sad laugh. That's different from a regular laugh.
Oh, okay. Wait, so what does that mean? Do I still just re-roll the same, or is it different?
We'll
No, it's
see.
it's the same exchange rate, but
Okay, same exchange rate. Good to know. Good to know.
They're just different.
um okay. What did you do to Wint?
I, and he like puts his two-dimensional hands together. Don't know who that is.
I believe him. So you've only been pretending to be Stone for like a couple of weeks,
Yes.
but like what has he been doing this whole time?
Well, Stone is tied up. He might be
As
dead, but he was tied up.
You didn't feed him?
so you tied him up?
Yes. I'll
What were
sort of
you?
tie
Hold on,
it
hold
up.
on. Rewind,
Yeah,
rewind.
yeah. Sure.
What were
We're
you
talking
doing
now.
before that? What little horrible studio closet were you locked in before all of this started a couple weeks ago? How
I
did this plan come
was
to be? What's your motivation, your character, if you will?
I lived in Little Sketch because I can't afford nicer places,
Mm-hmm.
and he just sort of assumed that I knew something mystical about the foundation of the city, and he had people come and get me, Cherno, thank you. And I was otherwise working in a coffee shop, and that aside, there are other tunes who have money and celebrity that keeps them eternally youthful.
I'm sure
And I
no
was
one knows
sort
what you're
of
talking about.
networking with them, and we got it in our heads that Stone, was sort of a why have a middleman when we can take everything? I did not feed him to answer your earlier questions, so there's a very good chance that he has departed this earth.
I mean, I
So
am all about seasoning
scratch
means
one on
production, my
that.
dude,
I
but that is a
committed
little
a
far.
murder.
I mean, I wonder if that like crests into tort law at that point if you didn't know or didn't remember that you know uh
I will say I did think about it. I think since I'm coming clean, I did consider it, and I just sort of push that to a part of me that didn't need to think about it.
okay, now that is murder. That
Okay,
that does become murder at that
fine. As
point.
long as that's, we're all making sense here.
I would just like to reiterate, it's murder regardless of intention, but I think the courts can handle that.
Well, I mean, I do feel like it becomes tort if it is due to a situation where the accused would not have had the requisite knowledge to know that there were requirements. You know, the definition of tort is whenever, say, someone sells you a building and the roof falls on you, and they weren't aware of what they had done to cause that to happen whenever they built it. We're getting a little in the weeds here.
Are you trying to
Um,
say that the oldest Toon in existence was not aware that living, breathing humans needed food in order to survive?
I have had moments after parties where I uh, had to get out of my cottage, and there were maybe 3 or 4 professional friends down in the living room that I had left without, stocking the fridge or the mini bar, and maybe 4 or 5 hours later remembered, oh. 2 of them are people. They're not going to be able to, like pull a
That's
sandwich
hours.
out of
That's
their
hours.
novelty
That's not
pants.
weeks.
I'm
Okay, no,
I
you're right. You're right. We're a little in the weeds here.
I'm I'm
Little birdie.
marvelously confused.
What do you mean you're confused? You've been grinding up tunes like beef.
Well, okay.
Okay, why?
Because if I could become Stone and then I could take over Vision Animations, I could make all this money. What's he gonna do with it?
I thought that was your problem with him in the first place.
No, I wanted him out of the way so I could have it. I'm the
You could
oldest Toon in
do
the city.
literally anything else that didn't involve murdering tunes.
But I deserve this. This is for me.
Listen, there
I
are
took my lumps.
so many legal clauses about copyright and incoming cases about tune ownership of copyright and creativity. You could have seen any lawyer in the city and worked something out and tied Stone up, not with real ropes and shoved him in a closet to starve, but in legal battles for years. You would have had so much money.
In the background, I
s-
just want to say that, like, in the background, Cheryl is like looking down at Sally, or maybe is like kind of scooped Sally up and put her up to his face, and is like, Sally, dear, do you still have your cell phone telephone on you?
yeah, I think so. Just gonna start rummaging through her bag.
Here, you want to make a bag of junk roll?
Sure. That's one
It's
dice.
2d6.
Two.
You need a
I
10
like
plus
the-
plus sharp.
Let's see. 9, 11.
Okay. What did you need the radio telephone for?
Oh, in an absolute, twist um, of anything, Cyril's gonna call the cops. Uh, this is this is a lot. Um,
I mean, do
and
we need to involve police in this matter? Surely tune to tune to tune to tune, we can.
excuse me, what are you doing in the player to player conversation here? This is
I'm interjecting. I'm real and I'm here.
no. Oh man, Purple Rose of Cairo happened to us.
Mhm.
Okay, hold on. But before we call the cops though, you mentioned that you were working with other wealthy tunes and you were obviously not the brains of this operation.
Well, I take exception to that.
I am sure you do. However, who else are you working with? Because you don't seem to really I still don't understand why you're doing this. Is it really just money?
More or less,
You're
yeah.
you're a tune, an old tune at that. You could do a reboot every 2 years and make a ton of
Yeah,
money.
but there's only 2 studios in the city.
Yeah, I was just about to ask about that. Is the other studio owner also secretly a tune, or is that just a you thing?
That's just a me thing as far
Okay.
as I know.
Okay, just thought I'd ask. Wanted to bring it up.
I think Cyril's just kind of like peering over to see if there's like another slightly differently toned like different style warehouse with a slightly
On
different
the
group
other
of
side of the river,
idiosyncratic
yeah.
like cartoons from different eras
That's weird.
like having their own kind of deal. It's like pulls out his opera glasses and kind of like peers over to see if there's anything going on the other side of the river.
Now maybe we just. Yeah, it's all me. I misspoke. That was a mistruth. I was mistruthing you. I am the brains of this operation, and I take full responsibility.
Sally's gonna pull out a sign that just has an X on it and points to the sign.
I don't have
Doubt.
I don't have context for that one, but okay. By all means, call your police officers, and we will away to the station or the Huska, where I will be questioned, I'm sure, and put away like the monster that I am.
Okay, hold on. You're accepting this a little bit too easily. There's something else going
Hmm.
on here.
Well, I don't think it's that. I just think that
There's
none of
okay.
this.
First of all, there's always something else going on, but continue.
Sure. Yeah, yeah. I mean, you always need to have an A plot and a B plot. We all know that.
This
But
feels like an A plot.
Sally points at the sign again.
This feels like the only thing going on.
Yeah, the only thing. Yeah, you seem really quick to remind us of that.
um,
I don't trust you.
yeah. To that end, uh, okay. So your issues appear to be that there are two studios. They control basically who gets to be made and who doesn't get to be made. Something, something, something. Writing off. Large budget cartoons and then liquidating the assets whenever they get too expensive so that you can keep costs down. Something, something, something. Cartoons are just vehicles to sell advertising. This is all a little involved. Um, let's say that you're the brains. Who are the beneficiaries besides yourself?
There are investors who benefit from greater dividends.
Oh, you're really reaching there, hon.
Define rate of dividends for me.
There,
I just want to hear it.
hmm. Well, it's money, right?
Yeah, what kind? How do you define rate of dividends? How do you come to what that number is?
That's yours. It's a very involved conversation. I'd like to have it with the police.
I
Uh
I
huh.
I want to use this like moment where we kind of
Sure.
have Birdie like tied up to do something. Like there's clearly something else going on besides the fact that there's a giant like Toon goo generator here. Like Birdie isn't trying to kill us, right? After we've figured all of this out, we've gotten uh him kind of on the back step. I I just kind of want Cyril to be like looking around and
Sure.
like using his own cynical mind. It's like there's got to be there's got to be a get up to this get down somewhere.
You can make it sharp, I think.
Okay.
You want to ask me some questions, or you can look at the other moves as pertinent.
Let's see. I think it's probably something along the lines of reading the situation.
Yep.
It has something to do with the
You don't
remember
trust little
how
birdie?
they were leaving the studio and there was no one there, and then also Cherno took them like a really long way, or not like a long way, but like a kind of like roundabout way to get
Mhm.
to the factory to begin with.
All of
Maybe
that's
they're
true. Yeah.
stalling.
Yeah, it does sound like there's like all of this seems to be happening on a schedule. Something is supposed to be happening, I guess, is what it feels
Hmm.
like. But anyway, I'll just roll sharp and see if I can latch on to something. Okay, that is a 6 and a 4 plus 2. That gives me a 12.
Absolutely wild of you to once again roll a 12. You can ask two questions, and I will tell you the truth.
Okay. Hmm. What is missing from here and who's in charge here for sure? Um,
So, what's missing from here? I think, first of all, you don't see. What's missing from here is like, yeah, exactly the question earlier. Who benefits? Like, why continue to go through with this if this was Beaumont Ignatius Stone's plan in the first place?
mhm.
If you're just going to make money hand over fist, like you're pointing out, there's easier ways to do that. What's missing from here is Birdie's motive, perhaps.
Okay.
And there's no clear indication of like where these cartoon ants were going to go anyway. So I'll give you like two answers to that question. Like, there's no like in the accounting files that you found, Sky, and all the shows coming up on the docket because of your inside context, like in your general knowledge of what shows are being made. There's a ton of cartoon ants in this like Toon fabricator. What are they for?
Right.
And as far as who's in charge here, I think that Cyril, you get real close up on little birdie who has frankly allowed himself to be tied up. Cherno has just Bog isn't dead, so Cherno's just like waiting for Bog to wake up so they can be like, new job, I guess.
Yeah.
But you get really close to little birdie and you see that there is a token sort of on the inside, like pinned to his vest, but like on the inside of his lapel. So you have to like move his coat a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And you see there's a little weird token that you don't quite recognize the provenance of, but strikes you as familiar for some reason.
Can I get a description of it?
Yes, it is a poker-sized chip that is sort of edged in a silver finish. It is black otherwise, and in the middle of it, you see the symbol of a donkey stanton over the world.
Hmm. Hmm.
Fucking numsy.
Well, I really have to say, Bertie, your accessorizing leads a lot to be desired. And just kind of like takes it off and says, "Hey, Sally, new plan. We're not gonna call the cops. We're gonna call a cab. I think there's a board meeting that we have to crash."
I love the sound of that. Briefly, I would also like to revisit, I believe earlier, now maybe I am just doing my good old-fashioned Sky thing and, like, taking it way too far in my own brain, but I feel like earlier I noticed something about Little Birdie becoming slightly less two-dimensional.
Yes, he's marginally inflating.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, how fast would you say that rate is going?
Super slow.
Okay. Okay, I don't like that. Do we have a pin to stick in that metaphorically and literally so he stops inflating?
I'm certain you could produce a pin. Yes.
I would like to do that. I want to produce a little pin. Just give him a little poke.
Ow.
Is he deflating?
Why?
Is he deflating?
A little bit of air comes out. Excuse me. And then just the barest amount of like trickle of like the sludge from the Toon printer.
Oh,
I wanna take a
see.
look around for any kind of like pipes or wires or tubes connecting Lil Birdie to the device. Or is this like a completely freestanding?
He's completely freestanding. He was walking around in a plaster like body cast a little bit ago.
I was gonna say I don't think it's that. I think this birdie's a little, fresh off the line.
Mm-hmm.
We are cool, right? You're not gonna stab me again.
I didn't stab you. Get over it. Are you
Yeah,
implying
this,
that somebody has been reprinting Lil Birdie to commit these schemes?
Folks, I don't
think,
feel so good.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what's going on. I think, I mean, it might explain why this little birdie has no idea what's going on, but it might also imply that the oldest cartoon in Bivdale might not be with us, at least in a continuously conscious sort of way.
You ever get real cold?
Once,
Oh.
yeah. But we don't have to talk about that one time over at Ernest Borgnine's
And like
anymore.
little birdie just sort of like tries to look each of you in the face for a moment and just goes, Can you hold my hand?
Cyril actually does like offer a hand.
You saying I'm not real?
You're well, okay. We're going to talk a little bit about reality,
Remember what I was
Birdie.
saying about copyright earlier? There's like a whole thing about like the original and like spin-offs and
And I mean,
Cyril,
you
you
know, the
seem better
fact
equipped for this.
and you know, holding companies like to try to maintain copyright through changes in legislation or through using the concept of working copyright and having things nominally in different intellectual properties over time to sort of like stack copyright so that they can maintain control. But no, I don't think you are the original. You are the original iteration of Birdie. I'm sorry to say. And I'm sure that this is very difficult to hear. And I'm sure that this is very difficult to hear as the lifeblood sludge slowly starts to leak out of you. So, and I actually do want to like make a persuade check on this one.
Sure, yeah.
So I kind of want Cyril to use this a little bit. Um, he looks very seriously and you know kind of the mask falls away you know the opaque glasses that Cyril always wear you know he tilts his head down a little bit and they stop being just you know completely blank and you see the tired eyes behind them and he kind of pats this birdie's hand and says, "This town is rotten, dear. It'll break your heart. It'll take everything that's interesting and vital out of good, decent people, um, and it'll turn them into chum for horrible monsters like me. uh, but every now and then, you do get something amazing. You get a choice. You get to choose your agent, or you get to choose to leave a syndicated piece of garbage that was just there to sell cigarettes to children. And sometimes you have to do things that hurt or things that you're scared of. But you do get a choice. So, Birdie, we're going to call a cab and you're going to tell us where we need to go to break this.
Yeah, that's going to need a sly. But you can take +1 forward for acting on your questions answers.
Excellent.
While they're rolling,
Mhm.
you said that there were like the faces of old tunes like in the factory. Do we see Birdie's face amongst
Roll a
them?
d6.
Okay.
Also, that is a 7 plus 2, that's a 9.
Okay, we'll hash that out in a second. Let's see your fortune, my friend.
6.
I think Sally, this emotional moment of like Birdie realizes I'm not the real Birdie. I'm not real. I was always meant to melt, and I'm dying. And this very viciously sarcastic, caustic tune is like holding my hand while it happens. That's very emotional. Sally, always on the money. You're looking at all these tubes, and you do recognize some of the faces. You're like, oh my gosh, there goes insert Elmer Fudd equivalent. And there's a couple others, like a cartoon rooster from like a Russian program that like did not get off the ground, but everyone like it became a marketing icon instead of just a tune.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, oh my
Boris
God,
Golgo.
they killed Boris. And then just kind of stuck in one of the smaller tubes, you see like the profile of little Birdie, like when he's like stealing a sack full of pie from, and you think like, gosh, do I remember that being the first story I heard about him? And you see at least the stuck in the works here in this tune printing factory. You see little Birdie in limbo in hell in this pipe. Before you do anything, though, with a 9, your target goes along, but only if you offer something more for the sly here. I think Birdie What do you offer to Birdie here? I mean, you've given them that very beautiful soliloquy.
Let's see. Give them some assurance that this can't fail. Tell them your neck is on the line too. Oh, okay. So like Cyril is getting some level of royalties and like recognition
Right.
from the soporific sodas. Like to this day, it's been in like syndication for almost 40 years now. Um, but and this birdie's dying.
Yeah.
Okay. Something to remember him by, I guess. I mean, I don't think any of us are equipped to save him.
No, fortunately not.
Okay, yeah, I think he goes, look, um, I am the great uh, punching bag of the tabloids these days. They're always trying to look over my shoulder and get under my skin. Um, all of this is gonna break, and I promise the world's gonna know about you, but only if this breaks, and you can help us with that. And I think like the offer is basically that Cyril's gonna put his neck out, basically to make sure that not Birdie, but like this Birdie, right? This
Right.
one is going to get remembered.
So with that you see little Birdie, not so little, um, kind of rests against the railing here on the gantry that's collapsed, and just a few moments ago Kip fell into this goo, and he like sort of looks at it. He goes, they're meeting um up on Mount Biv in the ski resort. They bought it through a subsidiary.
Mm, for the merger, right? That's what's happening here, I take it.
Um, Not a merger between GLG and Vision Animations. No, but they are recontracting every working Toon.
I see. Well, it's a good thing I can't get work in this town even if I wanted to, huh, everybody? uh, let's get that cab.
Just Birdie just sort of rests here and kind of stares out over the river. And Cherno has Bog in his massive gargoyle arms, and he just looks at the three of you, looks at where Kip is probably getting dissolved, and goes, "We're cool."
Oh, honey, we are anything but cool, but we're not going to chase you. We have priorities right now.
We'll leave town.
Okay.
Just
So,
takes off and bursts through the roof.
golly, I wish I could get that far away whenever I needed to. And yeah, I think he, uh, I think Sarah like motions Sally over and goes, "All right, so if we're gonna properly remember you, there's gonna be a couple of things that we should do really quick. First off, since Birdie was technically a working tune, is there a particular name or alias you wish to be remembered by? If we can get you recognized by the guild, dear. I
Um,
imagine Birdie too isn't what you want in the commemoration reel at the next Academy Awards."
and before then, Sally, was there anything you wanted to do?
Um, uh, I don't think so. Anything that Sal's gonna do is gonna be after we're done handling
Got it. Okay.
Birdie
Any
Mom.
any move from Sky or any information you're looking for?
Um, Before we leave this warehouse, yes, but
Right.
not necessarily before.
Before this happens. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. and yeah,
So,
like I feel like I imagine since this is like a consequence, this is something that's going to require, some time away from here. But uh, yeah, uh, basically, this is Cyril making good on that aspect of it, which is we're going to make sure that you have like a headshot and a registered alias, so that yeah.
um, I don't know if working in the coffee shop was a real memory or not, but it did make me happy. I liked making coffee, so I don't know,
Hmm.
something to do with that.
How about BB for Birdie Beans,
That's real good.
right? We
And
will
then he
get.
melts.
Oh, oh, no
Oh,
headshot then. Yeah, okay, well, I'll just make a note for this. I have to talk to my friends at the academy, the ones that I definitely do have.
Yeah, just sort of slides down the gangway.
Right. We should get Kip out of there, everyone.
uh, if we can, absolutely. Yeah, so this is now Sally points to like that's literally Birdie's face up there. What the hell? Is there any way that we can like help these tunes? They're like actually dead though, the ones that are like in the tubes?
I have no
Maybe,
idea.
Maybe.
presumably. Okay,
Hey,
so
hey, Sky, what's your professional opinion on what's going on
Yeah,
here
I
with
was just gonna say I would like to do a little bit more investigating, and I have a few different angles of this that I would like
Oh,
to investigate.
tell me.
So the first of which being, I want to randomly pull out a little test tube and cotton stick out of my pockets, and I'm gonna get like just a little sample of the sludge
Hmm.
from birdie beans and put it in the test tube. And I want to, so we can save it to like analyze how different it actually is from traditional whiteout and what chemical processes might be happening and whether or not it's reversible. And I also want to look at the frames specifically, like the images specifically, and see if there's anything odd about like how they were like pressed together, or like if the frames are like sealed a little bit too well or anything like that. So I'm
So,
guessing that's going to be a
yeah,
sharp roll.
sure. Let me see if your scheming doesn't really work.
I got a
You let me know.
7 total.
I believe that's one for you.
One question. Okay.
Yep.
I remember some of the questions, but I need to look at them again. And I am pulling them up. There we go. It's right here. There it is. Okay. Um. I'm gonna use is there a trap here? But not necessarily like looking for a trap for us. I want to see like are these pictures like a trap of some kind for
These
the
like the
images.
presses where the ants were making themselves.
Or if they're just like horrible hunting trophies.
Pretty much the latter, unfortunately. They're not
Yikes. Okay.
stuck here, they are gone.
Yikes.
In
Okay.
some, but they're like the vital essence and the love that went into making these tunes is kind of what animates them. Whatever process they are made, these print on demand Half-Life tunes, it does just that. It limits their time on the planet.
Mhm.
Oh.
There may be a way to reverse that, or at least turn these regular print on demand tunes to save them from this like eventual
But they still
and
wouldn't
like
be the
inevitable
originals.
dissolution, but they're not going to be
It's not like a
who they
resurrection.
were.
It's like the ones that come out would be slightly more permanent.
That's the
Okay.
conclusion you draw here.
Okay. So once I kind of put that all together, I'm going to turn to the others and say, it doesn't really look like there's anything we can do for the ones that are already gone. If we shut the machine down and or break it beyond repair, which is what I'm voting for, we can stop it from still happening? Probably.
Yeah, I mean, all of these ants are giving me the willies. Whatever's happening here is purposeful. It might be worth just, put a kibosh on whatever plan was already underway.
And then there's the other question we have to ask. Is that gonna... We don't know what's happened to Kip or how long the process of dissolving takes.
Is there a way that we could suspend whatever's happening? And I feel like our very relaxed way that we're talking about this doesn't really underlie how quickly I'm sure we all want to work on this. But is there a way that we could
Hear me out.
suspend
Hear me out.
the process?
What if we freeze it? Like, literally, like, we go over to the thermostat and, like, turn it all the way down.
Now that's some good cartoon physics thinking right there.
Hell yeah!
I think I might want to try that. Just put a pause on somebody. Time for a what roll? Zany?
That sounds zany to me.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Whoever is the zaniest.
I don't think that's me.
+1.
Yeah, I think. Yeah.
My zany is 0, so.
I'm pretty sure I have a
Was the
negative
zaniest.
zany.
I think you have a 0 zany.
So I think.
Roll.
Yeah, I just kind of want to set this up a little bit because I almost like the idea of Cyril actually like going, all right, kid, this might be something for you. Let's make a demo reel. Let's see your work.
Oh my god.
I mean,
so
that was figurative, but it mostly
Before
is
you
just
tell
like.
me what happened, did you roll already, Annie?
I did.
You did roll. Okay. Add whatever you got +1 because you're acting on the question that Sky asked, like on that answer, and you realize, like, yes, like this is a real, physical, tangible world, but cartoons can screw with reality. What good? And
Yeah.
before you tell us what you got, someone could make another roll to give Annie another +1. Particularly if you, the three of you, look around, you see these ants don't appear all there, but you understand they're probably waiting for direction. As sad as that is.
Is there a large, like rolled up megaphone style thing anywhere around here by chance?
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. Cyril picks it up and goes, okay, everybody, quiet on set. We got to get everything ready for the big freeze. It's the big freeze. Everybody stand by, get to whatever refrigeration coolant pipes that we have and open them up all the way.
A freeze frame, if you will.
Oh, God. Woof.
Oh my God.
You get a negative laugh. You lose a laugh. I'm taking it back.
Cyril just like looks over at Sky, it just like just with the most withering glare for them, and then turns back to the ants and say, "Okay, disregard whatever nonsense that was and get in positions."
Sky, I'm starting to understand why your show didn't get picked up. I hate to say it. Maybe we should powwow a little bit. Just go over some lines.
Yeah, or maybe get you 1 to several workshops for improv if you're going to be insistent on that.
Damn. The radical takedown of Sky Howard.
Cyril is not nice, everyone.
Golly, that was rude. You can have your laugh back.
I'm hurt. I would just like the record to show that my feelings have been hurt.
Personally. Cyril, why don't you make me a cool? really quick.
All right.
Hey, there you
And
go. There you go.
out of character, Kelsey, you are really on a roll, bud.
Mhm.
You are truly one with the goofs.
Y'all, that is Snake Eyes.
I think Cyril, you probably get attacked by the ants. That is where my knees that's my knee jerk response. I was about to say that's where
Beautiful.
my knees go. I think you could take a lump and like get knocked out for a little bit.
Can I offer to help?
As like the ants just violently respond to your suggestion and then go ahead and help anyway. But you
Uh,
tell me.
no, I'll take that. Yeah, let's. Cyril started this operation as Bugs Bunny and is gonna end it being Daffy Duck. Let's get that tableau of the ants just like hearing this guy starting to give them orders, and the first thing that they think to do is to assault him.
Yep. A bunch of like a couple dozen cartoon ants just beat the ever living hell out of Cyril for a little bit.
Beat the
Yeah,
graphite right off him.
It's really bad.
Yeah, no, I have to imagine it's just like a couple of really really lovingly rendered scenes of just watching like Sarah just getting stomped to pieces.
But he's a cartoon. He's fine.
Yeah, just kind of gets up, adjusts his glasses a little bit, and then the glasses crack, and then the rest of him starts
lens falls
cracking
out.
away from the glasses and like falling into pieces on the floor.
So, because he took that lump, I'm going to give Sally Sable that other +1. So whatever you
Okay.
rolled, whatever you got, +2 overall.
So I rolled a 2. So I rolled a 2.
Oh,
And then there was you gave me +2, but I also have a +1 to Zadie, so that would be a 5. But we can use our laughs to re-roll, right?
Yes, you can.
Okay, so if I could do that, in the hopes that maybe actually getting my life together.
All of that preamble for I got it too. I got it. Everybody,
Yeah, yeah.
2 twos in a row, no less.
the luck is back on my side.
Okay, a 4 now. Plus the zany would be a 5. Well, it's still a 5.
Well, it'd be a 7, right? If you
Right.
got 4 plus 2
Oh,
plus
yeah,
1.
if using the other +2, then that's a 7.
All right. So comedy is when something bad happens to somebody else. You're the somebody else, Miss Sally Sable.
Mhm.
Our options are worse outcome, hard bargain, or dramatic tension.
I'm gonna
Let's
go with
see.
dramatic tension.
Oh, I get to pick one.
Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry.
Wait, is this still on a mixed success or is this on the hard failure?
This is 7 and 9.
Oh, okay, 7, got it.
So I think hard bargain. Here's your choice. You get the thing done and something bad automatically happens to you, or you just fail.
Uh, yeah, Sally's gonna go with she gets the thing done, but then something bad happens to her.
All right. I think so Sally, you have the beck and call of all the ants after they're sated on Cyril's vital fluids for a moment. And they help refrigerate and cool off the incredibly hot, swampy atmosphere of this Toon Press workshop. And you do eventually, you just, all of this going on, all the ants going absolutely nuts, you do just walk over, like you said, and just turn the thermostat to 0.
Mhm.
And everything just sort of ices up. But what happens to you? What's the bad?
Let's say that as she is turning it, so she still has her hand on the thermostat dial, she also just freezes there.
Yeah. So Sky, Mr. Sky Howard, or excuse me,
Dr. Sky Howard,
Dr. Sky
please.
Howard, please. I know about your PhD. It was in criminal studies. Wait, and that's not
business
any sort of
finance,
criminal shortcut.
actually.
Business finance. You
Oh my
are
God.
you're standing. Presumably, Kip Hopperman is either dissolved or frozen inside of this massive kiln of Toon Doom. Cyril Seta is unconscious and in cartoon pieces, and Sally Sable has frozen herself to this now massive cooler of dead tunes, sort of like a well of souls. And you're
Ooh.
here.
And I'm the last frog standing.
You're the last frog standing.
You get to take home the reward.
Any word from you before we go to break?
I'm trying to think of something funny, but it has all left my brain. I think I just look around and I'm like, well, fuck. Except it cuts off before I actually finish the word because he already got our one in. So it's like,
Yep.
well, and then it cuts.
A Tune to Die For will be right back after these messages from our sponsors.
Hello and welcome back. We are back from our break. Sorry about the slight extra delay. As you may notice, I am wearing glasses now. You can draw your own conclusions from what that delay might have been. But I'm going to pass it back over to our GM.
It's still me, Mike, or Michael. And yeah, we're back. Kells had to save their eyes from a rampant eye goblin, but we're okay. Everything's real good. And right before break, we had a very touching, emotional moment. And then catastrophe struck. The Toon sleuths were reduced to but a quarter of their original number. And Sky Howard, you stand amidst the broken, frozen bodies of your compatriots. And it is up to you to do the next thing or to simply wait for them to recombobulate.
So we are... Wait, okay, has the cab already been called? Like, is there a cab on the way?
I'm not confident. You tell me, Sarah.
Because that will determine what I'm trying to do.
I think it makes a lot of sense that in the process of getting getting their guts kicked in, he wasn't able to.
Might
Wait
have
a
slipped
second,
his mind.
guys. Give me a second. I have to make this call.
I mean, that would be, admittedly, that would be funny, but yeah, I think, especially with it being like a hard failure,
Gotcha.
I think we are in a situation where the cab has not been called, and
Help is not coming.
yeah,
It's not coming.
Sky is effectively
fired.
stranded.
Well, I'm glad I don't have to, like, whip out a hairdryer and start, like, de-icing the both of you guys. Yikes. Okay, so all of the ants are also frozen, correct?
The answer, yes, also frozen in the blowback from that failure.
Gotcha.
Failure.
Okay, so the ants are frozen. Sally is frozen. Cyril is unconscious. The machine is frozen.
Yes.
Cherno
and Bog are gone.
and Bog are gone. There's no cab
Birdie
on the
Beans
way.
Is dead. There's no cab on the way.
And it looks like it has some time to kill. So, I'm going to go do some breaking and entering. I want to look in every single office that I can find and see what kind of paperwork I can dig into.
In this building?
Yes, in this building.
Sure.
So is that
Finally,
a
I'm
sharp
alone, Sky says as they like pull out a quarter.
Puts on black gloves, is a criminal. You can give me a cool really quick.
Cool or sharp?
You could, if you want answers to questions, sure, yes.
Okay, let me look at what the outcomes for a cool roll is, if that might help me.
For the most part, cool rolls are ways to like accomplish a specific goal whenever like there's time or danger. So like if you're looking for a specific thing or you want to like get something, I feel like that would be more cool.
Gotcha. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think I wanna get some questions answered. So I'm gonna go with sharp.
Sure thing.
So I have a +2. That's a 6.
How the dice doing? All right.
They're doing.
So while you're sticking your neck out and ogling everyone with that hairy eyeball, someone else may take advantage or offense.
Mm-hmm.
I think while this is all happening, you're doing some B&E. It's not that you're not good at B&E either, and you certainly have time. And no one is coming to this part of the riverfront, at least in the foreseeable. But you weren't around when Cyril and Sally Sable were trailing the supposed killer of the Toons and the humans that have been winding up dead all over Bivdale. And you didn't have time to learn that he was involved prior to discovering the Toon factory here. But Sky, while you're attempting to purloin some legal documents or any sort of information,
some juicy docs, if you will,
some juicy docs, or find any proof that maybe this building is owned by a shell company that's owned by a shell company that's owned by Vision Animations, or Beaumont Stone is somehow the owner of this and he was going to sell it as an apartment building. something heinous like that.
Yeah.
While you
Yeah,
you
fuck
do
landlords.
break
There's nothing more
fuck
heinous than
landlords.
land development.
Mhm.
You break into a a records office in this abandoned factory, which you can tell has not been entered in a while. But maybe you'll find something here. Maybe something was being kept on site. Stone, quote unquote, was operating out of this building at least. But there is there's a moment, a beat, in between the shuffling of papers and the rearranging of your B&E kit that you just hear on the crunched glass of the window that you busted a heavy step, and looming over you like a titan, a shadow cast by the flickering light bulb in the back of this long abandoned hallway, you are overcome with a sense of deep dread.
So when I see this, I hear the sudden noise, see the shadow, the flickering, like a jump scare, knee jerk response almost. Sky like jumps and then like is a frog again. So now there's just this like tiny little frog sitting on the loose pile of papers.
Sure.
You wouldn't hit a frog wearing glasses, would you?
Still wearing glasses, the little frog.
Still wearing glasses, yes, exactly.
So, yes, while we did find out perhaps what's going on with the Toon industry, we still haven't caught our killer. And Thump dragging his way toward where he saw you last, that large, square-faced man that looks like some cross between Rondo Hatton and Frankenstein's monster, eventually, slowly, cranes his head around the filing cabinets where erstwhile you were standing. Are you still there, frozen in fear, or are you hiding?
I think when I like into a frog, I like landed like slightly behind something, so I wouldn't be like immediately obvious, but I would not have been sound of mind enough to like find a real hiding place.
Sure.
Maybe you're doing that thing where you're like standing stock still and pretending to be
But don't move.
like the pedestal of a lamp.
You're a frog holding up a light bulb.
Yeah, I actually hop onto the desk and I found a stray light bulb and I'm just.
You can see clearly still physically harmed after that being caught by that weighted net earlier, and after being like pretty like hotly chased by Cyril, this individual, this large muscle-bound man in this, he's not wearing like coveralls anymore. He's sort of defaulted to like slacks, boots, and just like some sort of like tight form-fitting sweater.
Oh, hello.
Okay.
And he's rather
Okay, sir.
if not for the monstrous qualities, or because of the monstrous qualities.
I was gonna say, speak for yourself.
You didn't let me finish. Because of the monstrous qualities, this man is more threatening, yes, but in his own way. Hey, the cookie crumbles for us all. You see that he's still got a bruise on the side of his face, like a raised black eye, and doesn't grin, doesn't move his face at all, just silently regards the area. What, if anything, do you do?
I think I'm just gonna stay where I am and see what he does. Like kind of like what is he looking for? You know what I mean?
Sure. Okay. I think to stay hidden, now I would like a cool.
Okay. All right. That's not gonna be my best. um, uh, Where actually I might have adjusted that one. We are over halfway through the stream and I still don't have my character sheet pulled up.
Oh, Kels.
Who
Um,
needs it?
Here it is. Found it. First try. Already had it up. You said cool?
Yep.
I have a +2 to that. Not that helped me last time. Is this a 6 or a 1? That's a Oh, that's a 13.
Oh boy.
You get your thing done, but you set off a chain of events that will have complications later.
Shit.
We can work that out between us.
Shit.
This is the first Powered by the Apocalypse game that I ever played that has like a tilt function where you
Yep.
can do too good at things.
You have done too much. I think perhaps this large man inclines toward the desk where you are, and mistaking your frog tongue for the switch, pulls on your little tongue, and the light bulb goes on.
Of course it does.
And he, like, again, it is hardly making noise, but you can like hear him breathing as he settles on one filing cabinet, presses the button on the side, and just slides it open, and is thumbing through some large folders here that are marked like paraphernalia. And eventually he pulls out a likeness of one Felix Scrumkey, folds it, puts it in his back pocket, and starts to walk out.
So, Felix Scrumkey, we've talked about him before, right?
You spoke to him at length. He was the junkie dealer bartender at
Right. Yes.
the Quarter
Okay.
Portion Club.
Yes. Huh.
I thought
Alright.
it was human.
He is. He doesn't like pull out like a copy of him. It's like a photo of him.
Oh, okay.
Excuse me.
No, that was definitely my
What
confusion.
is he gonna do with
My bad. But yeah, he pulled out a photo from this stack of files, looked at it for a second, and then turned around. Started to leave.
Interesting. Okay, after he leaves, I want to go look in that drawer.
Sure. You peruse around and like you grab the same drawer, same folder that he pulled it out of, and it's just a bunch of this appears to be the safety logbook for the factory when it was a factory.
Oh. Meaning Felix used to be employed here?
Maybe, or that was just like a photo was in there for this guy.
Why would there be
But,
a
like,
photo of someone that doesn't work there? What are the rest of the labels in the drawer? Like, what other kinds of folders are in there?
In the other parts of the filing cabinet, you find the safety reports, who's cleaning the bathrooms when was the last time the winches that were meant to be like loading and offloading, like things delivered by barge or boat, like when were those inspected, as well as eventually you do find, if you spend a while here, of course, not wanting to leave the room, I'm sure.
Yeah.
You find eventually the like financial reports of like when this factory was like some sort of importer exporter
Okay.
for Bivdale, and it was less a factory and more like shipping,
Okay.
whatever this building used to be. It's dated like years ago, the safety logbook.
Mm-hmm. Is there any other mention of Felix in any of these folders?
No,
There was just a random picture.
there was a random photo stuffed in the safety logbook.
Is there anything else randomly stuffed in the safety logbook? like a secret pocket on the back, maybe something.
You can roll me a sharp.
9.
Okay, that's 2 questions.
All right. I want to ask. So, like, amongst rifling through things in the drawers, I want to go with the what's missing from here. It's like seeing if there's anything like hidden or like not, like
Sure.
if I can tell there's anything missing from there. And then I also want to ask who is the biggest threat, as in like is there anything in there that like sets off alarm bells, like oh shit, they're about to do something, or the whole factory's gonna explode, or whatever, like anything like that.
Okay, I think that you, in the safety logbook, actually tucked away, you find like a roster of employees from what you gather were the last few weeks that this like shipping's receiver was still open.
Mm-hmm.
And among the list of names, you find 2 that you recognize. You surmise that Felix Scrumpke did at one point work in this particular building.
Mm-hmm.
Whether or not that's relevant, he appears to have worked here for a couple of days.
Okay.
However, there's another name that strikes your memory, and to answer who's the biggest threat, there's a name that is kind of familiar to you because you remember seeing it on a poster in like an old vintage like movie VHS and like real renting place. And they also like rent filming equipment and cameras and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
There is a name that you go, why is this important? And
Mm-hmm.
just right at the bottom, worked here the entire time this place was open, is the name Bishop Kane.
Oh, that's a name.
Mm-hmm.
And was there a picture on this poster that I remember? Like, would I be able to put a face to that name?
You think Bishop Kane, to your recollection, used to play creatures like a Boris Karloff.
Okay.
He was a creature feature actor. He was like a horror actor, and he's a scary looking guy. And come to think of it, that square-faced man really looks like Bishop Kane.
Yeah. Okay. So, here's what I'm picking up. I'm just gonna put this out there. See what percent of this I can get that is both insane and correct. So there was some kind of, I'm picking up, due to the vibes of violence coming off of this very tall man, I'm picking up that there was some kind of squabble between Bishop Kane and Felix. And somehow it involves sketchy financial transactions between the two of them and also between whoever hired them. And I'm thinking that whoever hired them was probably connected to Stone. And Stone was trying to cover something up, probably having to do with poor record keeping for safety measures. And that has something to do with how this place went out of business and got turned into the factory.
Just keep connecting.
Just keep circling back, yeah.
Just because you make connections doesn't mean there are connections.
I'm connecting the dots. You haven't connected shit. I'm connecting them.
So there's like a moment where like the audience is with you, like, oh my god, like, okay, wait a second, this guy is nuts. Wait a second, this individual is fully nuts. So, Mr. Seda, you're on the floor of this no longer humid, rather cold, erstwhile Toon printing factory, and you awake, either with a start or not, but you have your pants, you've got your nice little loafers, and your belt, of course. Otherwise, cartoon nude.
This isn't the worst I've woken up before, if you'd believe it.
You're surrounded by frozen ants, and it is just at this moment that you come to that, Sally, you're able to move your head, and you're starting to get your shoulders back.
Despite being surrounded by frozen ants, Cyril somehow starts to hear crickets in the background.
Damn.
Yeah. I think Cyril kind of literally puts himself back together and goes over and picks up Sally and goes over to one of those emergency alarms where it's like in case of emergency break glass, takes the little hammer and hits the glass panel on the emergency switch, which causes Sally to like shatter out of her icy prison. Hell, they weren't kidding.
Definitely comes in handy.
So the two of you are surrounded by frozen Half-Life tunes and the vat of goo.
All right.
Sky is not here.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's kind of the first priority is like looking around and not seeing Sky and going, well, it looks like Professor's gone dumpster diving again. Let's see if we can find them.
Okay. Oh, don't forget, we also have to have them look through the notes that we got from old tape. What's his face?
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, we still got those. I guess we still have the car. What are we doing? Like talking about getting a cab. Let's just if we're gonna go to town, let's go to town in a Lincoln, huh?
Cyril, honey, you could not pay me to get back in that car with you.
Sky, I think you hear this echoing through the corrugated steel and concrete of this building.
So I would hear that, and I would probably go back out to that main floor area, checking like around corners for Mr. Frankenstein to pop out from anywhere, right? But making my way back in, and if the way is clear, going back in would be like, "You're never gonna guess what I found."
You're
Holding
right.
up papers.
We aren't. Let's pile into the car. Sally, would you be okay with Sky driving so that we can just get this on the road?
Is the car drivable?
Oh,
Yeah.
it was just a little scratch. We can buff that out. Like cut to like
It's fully like 3/4 the size.
I was gonna say like one corner of the car has just been sawed off.
But you're all in this this black on black Continental, in the worst part of the riverfront. Mostly people live here. It is not big enough to accommodate the Continental, but thankfully it's not as big as it was. And you are in the waning light of this day, the worst March 15th you've ever had.
I would like to roll to find out whether or not Sky can drive.
Sure,
roll what?
roll
A
it
D6.
just 1d6.
Just
It
1d6?
does
Okay.
seem a little ill-advised. Can they see over the steering wheel?
That's a better question. I did get a 6, but that's a really good question.
Sky can drive. There is
Beautiful.
no setting on the driver's seat that makes it high enough for you to be able to see.
I mean, this is a Fed. We can just look around. He's got a steel ring binder in here that we can like prop them up with.
Booster seat for the driver.
We see so Cyril Seta is in the back seat, massive wolf legs akimbo. Sally Sable in the passenger seat, of course, riding shotgun.
Holding on for dear life.
And Sky, you're balanced precariously but seatbelted
Safety
On a
first,
pi-
everybody.
on a pile of
Safety
like
first.
field manuals and a steel ring binder of like it's actually not even like from Langley. It's a steel ring binder that this guy probably took from a hotel of like things to do and see in Bivdale.
Absolutely 100% on brand for Sky, propped up by nothing but information and pride.
You are driving. You are able to operate the pedals through sheer fiat.
Yes. It's like it cuts like with me with the steering wheel down to like my feet pressing the gas pedal, and then like cuts back up, but you never see whether or not Sky's actually
You're like,
long enough to make that
What's
connection.
going on with that?
Yeah.
You're just really fast.
Yeah.
So you're all talking as you drive through the late industrial district of Bivdale.
Yeah. Did we talk about why you got shotgun, Sally dear? I'm sure that we came to a very good reason for this.
Yeah, someone had to be trusted with navigating us.
Oh, right, of course.
Dear God.
So I want to give a rundown of what I found in the office and that I saw Mr. Frankenstein. Sorry, Mr. Frankenstein's non-Toon actor. Anyway, that was a really bad joke. My apologies. That
Oh, that was a
was the
joke.
lowest of the day.
I'm imagining Sky trying that one out on Sally and
Somehow the crickets have followed us into the
Cyril.
car.
That's real good, kid. Keep at it.
So I'm giving a rundown of the fact that I saw the scary guy pull out the picture of Felix, which had no apparent reason for being in that filing cabinet in the first place, and the other name that I recognized, and how I think that the Bishop Kane guy is the scary guy, and not necessarily, because I've already been, like, rejected by the fourth wall audience on that theory, so I'm just going to keep the rest of it to myself in this instance.
I think Cyril's like looking through it and goes, it might be that Wint just fell prey to a little bit of narrative resonance here. A private eye looking into some shady dealings on the waterfront. Poor schmuck had no idea what he fell into. Had to get silenced.
But does that have anything to do with the, like, God complex level goo machine in there?
Maybe it doesn't have to. Maybe a horrible thing happened to an innocent man for no reason.
No, it's gotta be. They have to be connected. they have to be connected.
Sky, you do recall you each got personally addressed letters stating that Wint had evidence which would knock the whole city down.
Oh
Yeah,
gosh. I did forget
Oh,
about
it's
that.
connected.
yeah.
And if it's the whole
Um,
city, it has to do with the economy, probably transportation, RIP Kip, and like there's something going on here that's connected. These are not separate events. They cannot possibly be separate events.
Well, if you can talk and chew gum at the same time, get us over to that meeting, dear. We might be able to break this thing wide open.
going back to the notes that we found, is there anything in the notes that like stands out other than um Tape thinking that Wint was killed by the someone in the motorcycle gang?
Yeah.
Yes. So he thought that someone in Quarter Portion killed Wint because Wint was looking into something near their turf. He was killed nowhere near their turf, of course. There was also the detail he
Ah,
thought that it's a lone wolf killing all these people,
Hmm.
but that contradicts. Oh, like it was a lone wolf that killed all these people, and his profile indicates a lone wolf, but that contradicts the idea that it's the motorcycle gang.
right.
Additionally, Sistota's notes do like has a profile on Felix and on Stepan Lunger because he can't let go of his obsession with copyright law, and
Right.
he wants to bust them for having those illegal reels and all of the memorabilia from failed cartoons and like all the songs from failed
And
cartoons.
I would like to think that and I wrote this in my note when we first met the special agent guy. I have written down resistance question mark and music belongs to the people. So I would like to think that there's definitely a resistance organization specifically targeting Mr. Copyright.
Out, out of curiosity, what does the was there anything to the profiles on Stepan and on Felix? Anything
Um,
anything stand out in those?
just that Felix's dependence on substances kind of makes him an easy weasel,
Mm.
and that was he wanted to push his buttons. He happened to get him in public. He wanted him in private, and then you appeared. and ruined his mild interrogation that was taking place. Stepan, on the other hand, he has photos of other rendezvous of a different golf club that he wanted to leverage against Lunger.
Hmm. Interesting.
And
Are
yep.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, are there pictures? Is there anything?
There are apparently photos taken by this special agent of Lunger like meeting up with other entrepreneurs, other individuals.
Mhm.
One in particular, Sally, you see this as Cyril is like thumbing through stuff and going, "What do you think about that?" You recognize the very handsome apple-headed biker Toon.
Oh, right. That guy. Where did he
Um,
go?
you realize his name is Bobby Apples.
Hmm. That's really good, by the way. I like that. um, this is, I mean, this is a lot of information, but the, I'm trying to figure out the connection here. Wint found something. Wint had to have found something that's connected to this, and we know that there was a string of Toons that were killed. What what's missing here?
Burning a hole in your pocket for the last few days, Sky. You recall the blueprints of the first floor of the old Abernathy mansion, secreted away in Went's garbage.
Yes, I do recall. And we haven't been to the mansion yet, have we?
You have not, and it is about to be nighttime when no one is filming because it's haunted.
So we should go.
You could. You could also race to the ski resort on Mount Biv.
Right,
Yeah,
yes. The ski
I
resort.
think we are at a choice, right? Like I think
Mm-hmm.
there's two ways that, and indeed there's kind of two ways. It almost feels like we can like decide what we want to do. I mean I think Cyril's like saying this um in character, so I'll just get back there. Well, uh, sounds like that line of garbage that I gave BB's coming true. Looks like we're faced with a choice. We know that something's happening up at the ski resort, and that it's involving a lot of the movers and shakers over here in little old Biffdale. And we also know that whatever happened to Wint, signs seem to be pointing towards the old mansion. We can't be in two places at once. We can split up if we want to,
Mhm.
but we have a choice. We can go one place, we can go the other, or we can.
Okay, so if we do split up, who is best suited for which situation? Because I'm not saying I'm the best suited for the mansion, but I am saying I really want to see what's going on in there after dark.
Oh, no, Sky? You're not? Ah, interesting.
I said I wasn't
Um,
saying that, not that it wasn't true.
I see.
Anyway.
Well, obviously, I can just add it to my personal lexicon of stories that I busted a big illicit deal between the major brokers here at Biffdale. I'm sure that that'll
It's true.
be something that the daytime talk show host would love to talk to me about.
Now, listen, I have. So, if you're gonna go there and I'm gonna go to the mansion, I need you to promise me, very solemnly, swear to me on something that matters to you, that you will add in one specific phrase to what you tell them. Can you do that for me?
Oh, well, that depends, dear. What's the phrase, and what could you possibly think I value in this life?
You must, when asked, what evidence do you have, or how did you hear about this? Anything of that nature, you have to say, a little birdie told me. You have to. Can you
Your-
promise
your-
me
your-
this?
Your lack of trust that I wouldn't have come to that one naturally is really speaking, like more about you than the request itself, dear.
Listen, we haven't known each other very long, okay? I just needed to make sure.
Uh-huh.
Okay, hold on. Do we have enough evidence? I mean, like, yeah, we could go to the office and, interrupt the meeting, but what exactly are we going to do there?
Well, I mean, personally, I think the main thing is to tell them that their operation stopped, right? We're going to sow a little bit of discord. We're going to get everybody, at each other's throats. Maybe you can find a real big novelty reel-to-reel tape recorder in that bag of yours, and we can get a couple of, poorly timed, blurted out confessionals that we can give over to, well,
I
and I
think
say this with the greatest amount of enmity, the authorities. Uh, but
I think it might be
that's
even more effective if you tell them not that their operation has paused or that we've frozen their assets, but that it's just like gone. Like tell them that we
That's a laugh for
destroyed it.
Kelsey.
Thank you. I've been trying to go for that really hard today. You tell them that it's just like busted completely. Like no, like that factory is like trailing down the river. It's not like you tell them it's
yeah.
gone, and then I think they'll freak out harder.
Mm-hmm.
What we could do is bust in there. The humans have this thing they call Instagram Live. Just whip out the phone, we do the whole thing live, and then they can't run away, and then we're actually exposing that,
Yeah, and then they can't
like
like
to the
delete the
public.
footage.
Yeah, that too. Or murder us. Because
Well,
that's
they could still
also
do that, but the evidence would be, on the internet forever. Not
yeah,
that I
yeah.
hope they
I
don't
feel
do
like
that, but like I wouldn't count on it being an insurance
they
policy.
are, at least I think, statistically less likely to murder us if they are being filmed
That's
and
true.
broadcasted.
That's true. That's true. You're right. Witnesses and all.
So the Continental that you're driving, Sky, so expertly, you realize you're coming up on basically a crossroads here. You're going to get onto the highway out of town to head up to Mount Biv in a little bit, but if you want to head over to the Abernathy Mansion, you're going to need to um,
Part
leave
ways.
pretty soon.
Yeah. Okay.
And whoever is going to come with you should come with you now, and
Mm-hmm.
everybody else, the rest of the Toon sleuths should head off to confront this cabal.
Mm-hmm. All right. So who's going where? I'm going to the mansion.
I could go either way. If Cyril wanted to maybe call some contacts to have them meet at the meeting with some live cameras, maybe that could work.
Maybe I think that yeah. I mean, I think that could work. He could head over and see if he can harass a couple of his usual stalkers over at the tabloids to come with them.
All right. So Sky, you're heading off to the Abernathy Mansion. Sally, are you staying with Cyril?
Sally will go with Sky.
Okay. And that leaves Cyril to scare up some cameras.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay. So I imagine, Cyril, you take the car then?
Yeah, the exchange between Sky and Cyril, I'm sure, is pretty fun. As the chairs have to get moved around.
Yeah, I was imagining it's one of like the not the bar at the bottom you have to pull to adjust the seat, but one of the buttons that's like electric or whatever, and it just takes like several seconds to very slowly like back far enough for Cyril to fit in the car.
All right. So we're going to trail off with just Sky and Sally Sable for the foreseeable.
Okay. Uh, that's useful for me. I actually have to go and
Yes,
take care
exactly.
of something that's come up in the house. Y'all take care.
All
Take
right, we
care.
are going
Thanks for playing.
to cut to a break very quickly so I can adjust cameras.
Yep.
But we will be back.
1 second.
Hello again. We are back.
Hello. We have been moved, but we're also in the same place. So, Sky Howard and Sally Sable, the two of you, left on the mean streets of now getting close to uptown Bivdale. There is a part of it that is a bit dilapidated, and nobody owns it clearly. There are a slew of old properties like the Abernathy Mansion, but the Abernathy Mansion, of course, is the among the oldest buildings here in Bivdale still standing. You watch as Cyril Seta casually drives off with the completely screwed up black on black Continental and leaving the two of you on a windy street looking at one of the largest, most imposing buildings perhaps either of you have been in. And there is like a gated courtyard, but there's a part of the exterior wall here where like the bars have been knocked down and the stone wall here has more or less crumbled. And so there's like condemned, do not enter. And there's like several fines that are quoted to you if you're like trespassing between such and such hours on a non-work related. Yeah, you could be hit with a lot of fines here.
So Sky is very visibly excited about this, just like almost like buzzing where they're standing, and pulls a flashlight, like an old little like switch flashlight, nothing fancy or anything, like operates on like giant like D batteries, and
Jesus.
pulls it out, turns on the switch, and it's like right under their chin. Are you ready to go inside the haunted mansion?
Let's get this over with, I guess.
Yes, and I point the flashlight down again, and we can head inside.
There's a little transition where as you stalk across the courtyard through the hedge maze into the what was at one time the servants' entrance, which to your eyes is the only door obviously open. The front doors leading into whatever foyer there might have been are like chained shut. The windows on the first few floors are boarded up. The ones highest up, of course, aren't. And there is the attic window that you can see that kind of looks like a frowny like set of eyes. Like the building is just mad that you're here. But as you step into the servants' entrance, you can see the clear signs that there's like a filming company doing something here. There's like a bunch of tripods left behind, no cameras or electrical equipment, but there's a lot of cords everywhere and just footprints all over the place, muddy and wet. It was a little bit rainy earlier. They were tracking in inside of this. It looked like somebody set up some sort of nerve center for the filming operations in the mansion during the day. Very quickly vacated as now that it's dark. The two of you stand in what basically looks like somebody's filming a nerd cave that has been swiftly cleaned. of any valuable equipment, at least. And you're standing in maybe a tertiary kitchen at one time, and you just feel the presence of the house around and above you.
I want to pull the blueprints out from
Yep.
Wayne's garbage, which I believe were slightly rain-soaked or water-soaked from
Yes.
shortly after I first found them, so probably smudged a little bit. But I want to look and
Smudgy.
see on the blueprints if there's anything like that Wint would have like marked specially, or like anything that was like added on top of the blueprint itself.
Mm-hmm. So you know that he liked to use disappearing, reappearing ink,
Yes.
and you know his trick, and you just, surreptitiously have a lemon, and you squeeze it over the map. It's a little smudged. You might be missing a few things,
Mm-hmm.
but what does light up in like bright yellow on top of this blue back blueprint is there's a sitting room near the library on the first floor, and it has a fireplace in it. And he just put a big X over like where the fireplace is in that yellow pen or pencil he had.
I'm imagining, you know that scene in National Treasure where they're in his dad's house and they're like, we need heat too, and then it's like very zoomed in and they like with the hot air. I'm imagining that's what's happening here.
Yeah.
um, uh, and then the very dramatic Nicolas Cage voice, X marks the spot.
Oh my. Awful. Sally, while Sky is busy determining perhaps where to start your digging, you hear through the this door that you're looking at into the rest of the house. Sally, was clearly installed years later. It's like a steel door that has one of those like pressure releases, so you can't open it all the way before it like shuts itself shut rather. And like that is locked from this side, and there's still a key like where you need to lock it.
Mm-hmm.
And while Sky's busy going, X marks the spot, I'm a genius, treasure finder, you just hear right on the edge of your hearing, you think on the other side of that steel door, just a little.
Um, Guy, you also heard that, right?
Did I also hear that?
Did you hear it?
I'm asking you. Because if
You
it was
paying attention?
possible for me to hear it, I probably would have heard it.
You could have.
Okay, then I probably did hear it. Okay. I just yeah, I heard something.
So we don't know what this X means, and it sounds like there is someone on the other side of that door. Are we sure we want to let them out?
Well, is there another way for us to get in without letting them out? Or, depending on what it is at all, if it's a ghost, it could, be like spectrally tied to a certain object in this room and can't leave anyway.
You've got a point.
It's also
Okay.
a possibility. Or
Big
it could be a
brain.
murderer.
I've got it. So she's gonna start digging through her bag for some X-ray goggles
Yes.
so she can see potentially through the door without having to open the door.
Mhm.
Okay. Um, here's I offer you this. I will give you a laugh if instead of X-ray goggles, you pull out goggles that turn you see-through.
Sure.
So you pull out X-ray goggles and you put them on, and you're just fully transparent.
Mhm.
Where did you go?
Looking around.
What happened?
You can still see the goggles.
I don't really see anything, so maybe it is a ghost. And she puts him down.
She like reappears.
All right, let me also try to take a look. I trust you and I trust your judgment, but maybe I'll try to take a little peek through the keyhole, like pull out a very tiny pair of binoculars, and like.
So you have to pull the key out to look through the keyhole because
Oh.
it's on your side. This key.
Oh, okay. And I can pull the key out without unlocking the door, right?
Yeah, you could just
Okay.
fully pull it out.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull the key out without unlocking the door, and I'm gonna look inside.
Just roll a d6 for me.
That's a 6.
You don't see anything looking back through the keyhole.
Oh, great. It's a very small field of vision.
Okay.
It's a
I
very
super
small
trust
field of
that.
vision. You don't see anything looking back through the keyhole. What you do see, like through the moonlight streaking through the building, even though it's a little cloudy, this building's a little supernaturally lit up. You can just see a hallway. You're looking at a door. There's rough grime marks where a painting used to be hanging in that hallway, and whatever rug there may have been has been torn up. You're just looking. The most you can see is like the barest inch of exposed wood on the ground, but otherwise, nobody there.
Okay. Okay. Well, do you know of any other ways to tell if there's a ghost?
Hmm.
Because to me,
I
it looks
was
like
an
we did everything we
extra.
could.
I was an extra on the set of Scooby-Doo one time,
Oh.
and they were talking about how you could throw invisible ink on to ghosts to be able to see them because it does like this reverse process.
Ooh.
But I don't think we have any invisible ink, so I don't know how
Maybe
helpful
you
it
don't have any invisible ink.
is. Oh,
Question
I
for the
didn't mean to
GM.
assume.
Does this house have, because I know it's like a really old house, right? But they use it
Yes.
pretty often for filming and things. So they would
Yes.
have to have some kind of, safety feature installed somewhere, right? Do they have any sprinklers in this room?
You do see them in this room.
Okay. The one
You
we're
do see
standing
sprinklers
in?
in this room. Yes.
Okay.
Whether or not like you can access the whole water system
That's
from
a
this
different
room,
matter,
probably
yeah.
not. That might be in the basement.
So, if your theory is correct, we could go dump some of this into the sprinkler system, and then we'd be able to see every ghost in the house. Not just that hallway. We'd be covered like everywhere.
Do we want to see every ghost in the house?
Would you rather not see them if they're right next to us?
She's like actively like, see ghosts, do not see ghosts, or if we do see them, then they're gonna be pretty spooky. If we don't see them, they're still gonna be pretty spooky. Okay, where is the water system? How are we doing this?
Funker's gonna be so mad at us. I love this. Alright. How do we get to the sprinkler system?
Probably in the basement.
Okay. Is that where we came in from? Like from the servants' entrance? Was that down in the basement or is that different?
The servants' entrance is actually just the side of the house.
Ah,
The basement, if there are like exterior doors, probably around another side of the building.
okay. Okay.
Or you could go through the house toward whatever basement access there is.
Okay. Alright. Alright. I there's a car honking somewhere outside my house. I vote we just go through the house, Little exploration, little bit of an adventure.
Sure.
Yes.
Sally is thoroughly not happy to be going into
Ah!
a dark, dank, possibly ghost-infested basement.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Do you unlock the door, Sky?
The door that we were standing right in front of?
Yes.
There's another way to get to the basement, right?
There is no other way to get to the basement through this entrance that you found.
Oh, we can't go like back through where we came from?
You could. You could go back around and look for another door for sure. Do you take the key with you?
Yeah, I want to take the key with me. But I'm not
Okay.
going to unlock it yet.
Got it. So the two of you step out, return to the misty evening, now fully dark outside, illuminated only by the moon. You trace the exterior of the Abernathy place and do eventually find like storm door style, like cellar doors. But those, of course, chain shut as well. But that's never stopped you, Sky.
I'm gonna look at the key, and look at the chains, and look at the key, and look at the chains, and I'm gonna try to see if the key works on the chains.
Yeah, there's a padlock here. Yeah,
Oh, and I'm gonna see if the key works.
pop it open.
Yes. It's a skeleton key. We can get into any room we want. And I
The
want to,
chains fall away.
yeah, I want to open the cellar doors as slowly as possible to get the maximum, like, effect out of
The
it.
creak is like just musically perfect. You
Ungodly.
know why
I
they
love
filmed
it.
here when you open these doors.
Perfect.
And you're looking into a pitch black basement with like cellar doors that you're like below ground level is maybe 10 stairs away. You can't see the bottom of the staircase.
Flashlight.
Just looking at pitch
Expected as
black.
much, yeah.
Just shine the flashlight. See what I can see, if that helps.
It illuminates to the bottom of the basement or the bottom of these stairs. There's like 30 stairs.
Jesus.
It's like
alright.
crazy, a crazy climb.
That's a deep basement. We're not living in an area prone to earthquakes, are we? Or tornadoes?
Not to your knowledge.
Okay.
We're in a Toon town.
We are in a toontown. Alright. Let's go. What's the worst that could happen?
So many things. Sally just starts listing off all of the things that could happen. You know, we could slip and fall down the stairs and break our
Ridiculous.
ankles and be stuck here.
When the two of you get to the bottom of the stairs, you can see like the old ancient boiler off in the corner that's covered in cobwebs. There's a bunch of tables and chairs that are stacked up, not all of them from like this decade. There's furniture covered with like tarps and whatnot, and a ton of storage, like shelves for like non-perishables and whatnot, that are mostly being used to store like modern equipment or other like storage, like bins full of whatever may be needed on set. And there's also a lot of costumes everywhere down here. But the moment you step past the bottom step, the two of you just hear in your ears as a just slight cold breeze walks by. You just hear, "Thanks."
Okay, hold on. So
You're welcome?
Yep.
Sally turns to Sky and she's like, "Is this house also a Toon? Maybe it's the house. That would be fine, right?"
That would be better than it. It would probably be better than it being full of ghosts. Probably. If the house itself has full control over what happens in the house, maybe not our best situation. But in the case that there is ghosts, and I'm gonna start rifling through some of the costumes, and I'm looking for like bed sheets with the holes cut out, so that if we look like ghosts, the ghosts won't bother us.
Sure.
And
Yeah,
I'm
they're
gonna
easily
toss.
found.
I toss a spare one to Sally and be like, "Put this on."
Sally was also looking through the costumes, but she was looking for like things to take home, like probably use this like stuff.
Priorities. I love it.
You think this is a real fur coat that you find, Sally?
Yes.
So I'm dressed like a ghost.
Yep.
Um,
Sally is wearing a new mink, I guess.
Oh no. She puts the costume into her bag, but she does put on the ghost cloak.
Okay, the two of you are ghost cloaked up.